All right. Hello, everybody. We're excited to have everybody back again for another SU Teaches SU presentation. It's been a while since we've had one. It's been a busy time of year right now, but we're excited to get back into the swing of things. And we have a lot of exciting presentations planned for next year as well. But here today, we're with Ms. Naomi Cortez. She's one of our general education instructors where she teaches primarily English, but she's helped with communications, college studies, so you'll have her in a lot of those early classes. She has a BA in philosophy and English and a MA in English with minor in gender and sexuality studies from New Mexico State University. She is currently in her second year of doctoral studies at North Central University, where she's studying general education with an interest in empathetic effects of student civic engagement. So if there's any students who are interested in pursuing, higher degrees, further degrees after they finish the associates and the bachelor's here, again, great resource here with Ms. Cortez, who's currently doing her doctoral work, so she can give some good advice on how to manage that along with work and family life and just life in general. um, for those students who have had Ms. Cortez, you know she's an amazing instructor. She was Teacher of the Year in 2017. And through her education, she's received many honors, Phi Kappa Phi, Alpha Chi, Golden Key Honor Society, NMSU Diversity Award. She's an Outstanding Graduate Assistant Award, the Freeman Asia Scholarship recipient. She's a Tuition Fellowship recipient and a Crimson Scholar graduate with high honors from New Mexico State University. Ms. Cortez is an avid hiker. She's an animal lover. She's a bookworm. I know she's been wanting to start a book club here at SU. So if anybody's interested in joining a book club or helping her start one, reach out to her. And an SBU fan. But we're excited to have Ms. Cortez here to speak to us. She'd done a previous presentation on mental health awareness, and to kind of go along with those topics, she wanted to share some awareness on suicide prevention. So I'll go ahead and hand it off to Ms. Cortez, and thank you so much for your time and for joining us here for this presentation.
Hello, everyone. I am super excited to be giving this presentation today. As Dr. Ramos said, I am Naomi Cortez, and I am a general education instructor. I mostly teach the English classes. I'm also a mental health advocate. It's a huge passion of mine. It has been for several years. More recently, I've been very focused on suicide prevention. So that's what we'll be talking about today. I unfortunately have been touched by suicide. Someone very, very close to me committed suicide, and it completely changed my life and my thoughts on the prevention and steps that we can take in order to help other people, but also ourselves, because I mean, we all get down, and sometimes we get very down. So I want to talk with you about some statistics, some steps that you can take if you feel that someone you know might be maybe feeling a little bit down and perhaps suicidal. That's something that we need to talk about. It's a stigma for many reasons. Some religions, it's very, very big no-no, and so people do not want to talk about it. Other people just the fact of feeling that down, it makes them feel weak, and we shouldn't feel that way. You are very strong if you can talk about feeling that down. So I do want to talk about that and some self-care tips that will help us when we are feeling that down. Steps to take, again, if you know someone that is feeling very, very upset. So I want to give you some statistics. Did you know by the time that this talk is over, 5 people will have committed suicide? And I wasn't planning for a long talk, maybe 30 minutes. So that's 5 people that will have committed suicide, and we can stop that. We really can. And that's such a powerful, wonderful thing to know that you can intercede and help save someone's life. It's beautiful. So it's a startling statistic to know that many people in just such a short period of time are contemplating and going through with the thought of suicide. One thing I want to mention is that it is the absolute #1 preventable death. Think about it. You can go your whole entire life not smoking one cigarette. You can die from lung cancer. You can go your whole entire life eating right, exercising, doing meditation, and still die from a heart attack. You could be the most cautious driver in the world and still die in a car accident. But suicide, absolutely no excuse. You do not have to die from suicide. No one does. So that's what this talk is about. And I hope you think about that. And when someone is feeling down, you can convey those same sentiments to them. That is totally avoidable. All right. So some statistics I want to share with you. I already shared with you some. It is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. A 10th leading cause. Doesn't seem like it's that high up, right? But when we break it down to the age group of 18 to 65, it's the 4th leading cause of death. That is totally unacceptable. Also in 2019, these were the most recent statistics that I could find. 50,000 people died of suicide. And of those, there were 1.38 million people that attempted suicide. Astronomical amount. But those are the people, the people that maybe someone talked to them, maybe someone interceded in time. There are different reasons for that number. Also, the demographics, some demographics have higher rates of suicide. For example, the LGBTQ community, a lot of our veterans commit suicide daily, astronomical amount. There are things that we can do to stop this, which I will talk about later. And then also over 50% of suicides include a firearm of some kind. So this is something that we need to take into account if we are in fear of somebody committing suicide. The chances of them doing it are higher if they own a firearm. This is one of the reasons why people with mental health issues should not own firearms, but that's for another topic that other people can talk about. But just know that if you know someone that is talking about taking their life, if they have a firearm, that's not a good situation. So there are steps that you can do. You can take the firearm away. You can get someone else to intercede. We'll talk more about that, what other options you have in a moment. There are some warning signs. I don't know if you're aware of any of these, but some are very red flag, and others, like, you wouldn't really think it's a warning sign. For example, if someone you know starts sleeping more, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to commit suicide, but it's something to look out for if other issues start compounding that. So sleeping more, things that might be a little bit more red flag would be giving away large sums of money, giving away possessions, if they start doing reckless things, even something as simple as speeding more and driving a little more recklessly. I know it seems very minuscule, but when these things start adding up together, they kind of signal us that, hey, something's going on with this person. We need to talk to them. So it's something we need to be aware of. Other things can include being anxious, starting to get very agitated, starting to cut people off. A really big sign you want to watch out for is if people start talking about being hopeless and just very in a lot of despair. It could be a sign of depression, but it could also be something more. Usually when people verbalize these kinds of things, they're wanting someone to listen. So be that person that's listening and know when things are escalating. And I'll tell you some signs to know when things are escalating to a point where you need to intercede. You'll see some of these things. That doesn't mean it's time to step in and be like, oh my goodness, oh, you're going to commit suicide, aren't you? Oh my goodness, right? No, it's the building up of these little things that you'll see that you want to stop that culmination of everything where someone might possibly take their own life. But talking about the hopelessness is a really big sign that you need to watch for. So that's really important. The increase of alcohol and drugs as well, something to watch out for. Even if your friend or loved one is not planning on taking their own life, the increase of alcohol or drugs is a problem that should be addressed. So that's something that you might want to talk to your friend or your loved one about, even on just a very simple level. Extreme mood swings are also something to watch out for. There are risk factors that can contribute to potential suicide. Again, if you see these in someone, that doesn't mean they're going to commit suicide. It just happens to be a risk factor that should be taken into account. So if somebody already has a mental illness, if they have depression or they have schizophrenia, these things are in research shown to be a risk factor for suicide. Other things would be alcohol and substance abuse disorders. Okay, and then also impulsive behaviors. These could also be linked to certain mental illnesses like bipolar. A history of trauma or abuse. One huge thing that you want to watch out for is previous suicide attempts. So if you know someone who has previously attempted suicide and they're talking about it again, it is very, very important for any talks of hopelessness, the risk factors I've been going over, anything that you see happening, that you reach out to that individual. If that individual is not responding, then you reach out to their family, their loved ones. I'll talk about the order more, but you might even have to contact the police or a mental health professional. We should never, and I'm going to say this again, probably like 100 times during this presentation, but we should never, ever treat suicide as a joke, as just a mere cry for help. That's one of the worst things you can do. It's not just a cry for help, it's a situation for help. That means we need to act on it. It's not just a cry. Other things we want to watch out for, a family history of suicide. So if it's been prevalent in even friends is another risk factor in potential suicide, is if you've had a friend that has committed it. Recent loss of relationships. So any kind of traumatic event that's happened, not everyone deals with situations in the same way. So I'll just say this. If you have a friend that has been divorced or is going through a divorce, no matter what, easy divorce, bad divorce, just a divorce. If you have a friend that lost a job, maybe it was a long-term job. If you have a friend that's just been diagnosed with an illness, any life-altering event, you should always check up on your friends, even if they seem okay. Because I'll say one thing, it's the people that seem most resilient that often need our help the most. So never stop checking on your friends, especially when those, life-changing events happen. Also, another thing to think about is easy access to lethal means. Again, the firearm would probably be the thing to watch out most for. So if someone has a firearm, check in on them, and at your own discretion decide if there's an action you need to take to get that firearm out of their possession. Also, lack of social support is a risk factor for suicide. So trying to reach out to your friends that maybe don't have as many friends. Not only those really strong friends, but also the people that kind of keep to themselves and don't say much. Check in on them. It's never a bad thing to check in on someone, ever. So, all right. So what do you do? So what do you do when you feel like someone's life is in danger? The hardest thing that we have to do is have the talk. What do I mean by the talk? It's when we try to decipher if someone has had ideations of suicide. So this means that they have actually started contemplating. They have thought about when to do it, how to do it. So these are tough conversations that we have to ask. They're tough questions that we have to ask, and a really hard conversation that we have to have. But you have to ask somebody, have you thought about committed suicide? Have you made plans to commit suicide? The method and things like this. If your friend is answering yes, this means that you should most likely take steps and reach out to a mental health professional or the police to intercede. I know it's a very tough situation because you don't want to jeopardize your friendship, but trust me, it is always okay to lose a friendship, but it is never okay to lose a friend. So you might have to have that hard conversation with them, and they might tell you, screw you, you suck, and I never want to talk to you again. But guess what? You may have saved that person's life. You have no idea. So it's really a win-win situation. It doesn't seem like it because you lost a friend, but it's truly a win-win situation. You could be saving someone's life. That talk is very hard to have. So what should you not do? Never belittle someone else's feelings. Never try to devalue their feelings. If they say that I'm hopeless, I feel like giving up, this isn't worth it, don't tell them. The worst thing you can do is to tell someone, it'll be okay, it's fine, you'll get over it, sadness goes away. No, you should always validate someone's feelings. Let them know that what they're feeling is valid. They can feel that way. They don't have to act in a negative way. There are things that we can do to move forward. You can feel totally blah and still move forward with that. You can build up from it. So don't tell someone that, oh, it's okay, you'll be fine. That's the worst thing that you can do. Plus, you can never know how someone else is feeling and what position they're in. There's just physically no way we can do that unless we get into someone else's head. So to say that we understand is almost in a way putting on a front. So just being false, you can never truly understand someone, but you can say, I'm here for you and let's work through this together. So sometimes you'll find that your friend is just really sad and they're just really not feeling it. They're in a funk. You can be there and offer your support and help them to work through that. These things that I'm talking about are not always a cry for help, as in the sense of, I'm going to take my life. Some of them, you'll know right away when someone starts talking about this hopelessness, you feel it in your heart, you'll know. But sometimes people just are in a funk. So assess the situation, because you never know. Assess the situation and then work from there. If you know their life's not in danger and they're fine, let that person know that you're there for them, that you can work with them, that you'll find a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow together. So I like that. All right, so some resources. I don't want to keep everyone super long, but I don't know if I can. I can't. I wanted to put some resources for everybody in the chat box. I don't know if you know this, guys, but El Paso is pretty freaking awesome. Hold on, let me see. Okay, here we go. Okay, El Paso is freaking awesome. And you know what? El Paso really cares about the residents. I put in a few links for you guys. I don't think the top one showed. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. If you go to epstrong.org, let me tell you, and you go to their mental health resources section, which I have there for you in the link, They are amazing. They have so many resources that you can go to. And this is especially important because of COVID. I'm sure that you've all heard, but because of COVID, we've had a lot of mental health issues kind of come to the surface. People being isolated. It's not a good thing for us. We're not, as humans, we're not meant to be isolated. So this is making a lot of the mental health issues come out. So a lot of people are getting depressed. Suicide rates have actually gone up because of the isolation that we've had from COVID. So there are resources. And if you go to the mental health resources page, you'll find different places that you can go to. There are places that you can go to here in El Paso. There's a number that you can call. It's 915-779-1800. And I don't know if I put that there, but I'll give it to Dr. Ramos to share and to Carrie to share for you to see later. But if you've ever experienced anxiety, if you have anxiety, you know, loss of appetite, loss of sleep, if you're feeling irritable, if you're feeling grief, if you're feeling hopeless, there are people you can talk to. You should never have to just sit in those feelings by yourself. That's just a terrible, terrible thing. And sitting in those feelings by yourself can lead to more extreme things like taking one's own life. It really can. It really can. Even family conflict. There's a lot of conflict that's happening now because, you're with your family all the time. It's great at first, then it kind of starts getting annoying. So that can happen. And you have resources to talk to. And it doesn't have to be about you wanting to take your own life or knowing someone that might, take their life. It's knowing that you have a resource there just to talk to someone. That's part of our mental health, which is part of self-care, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Another thing you can do, if you are ever feeling super, super down, you can text 741-741. You might be wondering, oh my goodness, why do we have to dial the area code now whenever we dial out in Texas? It's so annoying, right? Because we live in 915. The reason why you have to do that is because of this new text messaging system that they have, the 741-741. If you know someone that is going, if you know someone who you fear is going to commit suicide, you can dial 741-741 or text, 74741, and you text signs, SIGNS, and you will be connected with someone. If you ever feel super down and you need someone to talk to, you can text HOME, home, to 741-741, and someone will be there to talk to you. If you're interested in helping, like myself, I just recently signed up to be a crisis counselor. You can do that. You will go through, be asked some questions, go through a background check and all of that, and you will dedicate some hours, 200 hours every year, to answering phones and answering texts. So you can be part of the solution if you'd like. And there are other opportunities too. If you're interested, please reach out to me or to Dr. Ramos, and he can reach out to me, and I can help you find some opportunities to help in the community with suicide prevention and mental health in general as well. Also, I do want to say that there are, and I might have that in the chat box, there are population specific helplines. So if you feel more comfortable, if you're a veteran and you feel more comfortable talking with a group of people that have more experience with helping people in the veteran life, you can do that. LGBTQ community as well. Even things specific to race and ethnicity, there are special hotlines for those populations as well. So if you feel more comfortable talking with a specific group, you can do that as well. So, but no matter what, know that there's someone always there to talk with you, and you matter. You do. Let's see. I put some things up here. I don't know if y'all can see them, but you're worth it, okay? You're totally worth it. All right, I'm kind of rambling on now. So I just want to say, reach out, talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to a counselor, talk to anyone who will listen. And lastly, just some self-care. All right, because we want to make sure that we're good. We want to make sure our family and friends are good, but we want to make sure that we're good too. So some things that you can do, meditate. I talked about that in my last presentation. Also eating right. It's good for your body. It makes you feel good. Talking with a therapist. This should not be something that it should not be a stigma. The same thing as suicide contemplation. It shouldn't be a stigma. It should be something you should be able to talk to someone about, because that's how we save lives. If you're feeling very down, that's how you save a life, or you save your own life or someone else's life. You say, hey, I'm not doing so well. Let's talk. All right. So talking with a therapist is a great thing. For me personally, it's part of my my health routine. Keeping a good social circle is important. You don't have to have 500 friends. You don't have to have 20 friends. A few good friends is good. That's fine. That's all you need. Even if it's family friends, that's good. And use daily affirmations. Guess what? You're worth it. Okay? You're beautiful. Thank you for existing. Right? You are needed. You are loved. Some other ones I'll share really quickly. Every day is a gift. That's why we call it the present. Okay? Don't close the book. Start a new chapter. All right? Tell yourself every day how wonderful you are, how amazing you are, how you're going to live positively for the day and purposefully. Okay? All right. And then hobbies. Hobbies are a great thing to have. They keep you active. They keep you, interested in life, kind of, that zest. And also try new things. Okay. Escargot. Oh, maybe not escargot, but all right, try new adventurous things. Hey, jump out of a plane. Try a grilled cheese sandwich with pickles on it. Something. And then also live with a purpose. Like purposefully live. This will draw you forward every day. So that's that's kind of it for the presentation. I think I went over everything. I'm sorry I rambled a little bit, but that's kind of my style. So I'm a rambler. But I hope if you have any questions whatsoever, you can reach out to me. I do have tons and tons of resources for if you know anybody who you are worried about. Even it's best to be proactive. What did Ben Franklin say? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So that prevention is what we're interested in, right? We're so interested in that. So any resources you need. I'm not a mental health professional. I just have a lot of experience with these resources and with these issues. So I know resources you can go to. So I have those for you. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Naomi. Is there anybody who has any questions? If you want to, you can type them out in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask. Aside from, and I'll get this later, Naomi, your grilled cheese with pickle recipe. What do you suggest people do to? I know you had the previous talk about it, to overcome the stigma related to suicide. So maybe somebody's considering, harming themselves, and the people around them, there's such a strong stigma with talking about it. What do you recommend, or do you have any thoughts on what would be a good mindset for them to have, or what they can do to overcome those stigmas?
I would say that my husband's family is very Catholic, and so they have a very very big religious stigma. And while I wouldn't feel comfortable immediately talking with them, I would find a mediator. I would find a mediator for us so that we could talk together about it. So in that situation, I would probably talk to a religious person at our church, but that's way outside of my scope. But I think finding a mediator, someone that can kind of act as someone a little bit more neutral, you know, and be more not as biased, I guess. I don't know the words I'm looking for. But yeah, finding a mediator, but definitely not talking about it is like the worst thing to do, thinking that, oh my goodness, because I think once people start talking about it, that stigma starts to lessen, you know? So talking about it like really helps.
Were there any other questions?
Hi, Naomi.
Hi.
Okay, so there's a lot of people, we'll say, I'll use the example of Robin Williams, always a happy person. And people like that, it's really hard to tell the signs of suicide. So what would you do in that situation? Somebody's so happy and they're not really giving you many signs. How are you able to help them?
So I can really relate to this one because, as I said, I have personal experience. So my brother committed suicide. He was the happiest person you've ever known in your life. It was such a surprise when it happened. And looking back, like I see now in retrospect, and I know they say hindsight is 2020. I see the little cries for help that he had, and I didn't recognize. So I think if I would have known more ahead of time, but even then, not recognizing the signs, I say as long as we're constantly checking in on each other, and when you have that connection with someone, you know, the people close to you know if you're okay or not. So I think just constantly checking in on people, saying, are you okay? Are you okay? And even if something tragic does happen, unfortunately, like with my brother or with Robin Williams, we know we did what we could. We were there. We checked in. We tried. We were there, though.
Right. Thank you so much. I don't think there's any other questions. Oh, we have another question?
Yes.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Naomi, first of all, thank you so much for that talk. It's very inspirational how you were able to overcome a personal event and make it something so beautiful to of course make awareness on others and even people here as you family members. So I know you were talking about that. What's a way that you can probably instruct us that if we see that going around with a student or even a co-worker, you know, because we're always here, that's most of our time is with the people that are here in campus. How do we approach that? Because maybe you see things that even themselves don't see yet. How do you approach in a way not to be aggressive, or they don't feel that you're being just nosy?
I think that's really good because I've been in that situation with students. I feel sometimes even with coworkers. I think just being you don't have to say, hey, this is why I want to talk to you, you know, just doing the check-in first, like, hey, you know, like do you have time to, maybe we can talk after class, or maybe we can go have a coffee together, and just kind of talking to them and getting inside their head, because people are going to open up eventually. You know, you don't have to say, hey, I'm worried about you. You reaching out is going to be, if there is something, I think, going on, that right there is just going to be a godsend. They're just going to love you for that alone. But I think just as long as we keep communicating with each other and talking with each other, there's only so much we can do, you know? And I think keeping that communication open is what's super important. So I think even just recognizing it, that's so beautiful that you would, because most of us, we just kind of, they're fine, they'll be okay.
Mhm.
So I think just stopping and recognizing, you know, someone is it's beautiful. It's enough.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. And once again, thank you so much for sharing this knowledge with us. Mm.
All right, checking one more time. Any other questions from anybody? Okay. Well, thank you again, Naomi. Thank you again, Ms. Cortez, for presenting with us. I wanted to ask if you wouldn't mind sharing the best contact information for yourself in case anybody wants to reach out to you for any resources or to talk or whatever it might be.
Yes. Oh, I never put this stuff up in the. Oh, there's all the stuff I was talking about. Yes, it's N Cortez at southwestuniversity.edu. And I also, if you want to, for my coworkers, if you want to contact me through my personal email, just email me through the work, and I'll give you my personal email. But for students that and Cortez, I will answer you. I'm always there. I'm obsessive about emails, so.
Alrighty, thank you. And I have the chat open, so you can see the links here along with with Naomi's email, Ms. Cortez's email there. And then we'll share these in the video description once we get this recorded and posted up. But thank you again, Naomi. Again, great talks, and it's stuff that people need to hear to start breaking down those stigmas and understanding that there are people around them who care, even if they don't realize it or recognize it. But thank you again, and I hope everybody has a great day, and we look forward to seeing you guys at future SU Teaches SUs. But have a great day.